David here with Figboot on Pens. Today I have a pen that I think is pretty cool. It is my first pen from a company that I feel is equally cool, and that company is Newton Pens. What I'm going to do is talk a little bit today about Newton pens and what makes them unique and what makes their pens unique. We'll go over some of the parts and features of this pen, some of the things I care for and don't care for. I'm going to show some measurements, some size comparisons, and then provide a writing sample. Newton Pens is a one-man custom pen shop run by Sean Newton out of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Sean started out as a teacher, and then he decided it might be fun to start making his own pens rather than buying others. And he liked it so much they ended up selling off most of his personal collection to purchase the equipment that he would need in order to produce pens. He would ask his fellow teachers to actually nominate students that he felt were deserving of recognition, and he would make them custom pens and give them to them for free. Then I believe he ran a successful Kickstarter campaign. Here he is talking about it in his workshop / laundry room. And people ordered a custom pen, and for each pen ordered, a second pen, as well as a bottle of ink, was given away to a deserving student. The campaign was really successful, and Sean began to develop a name for himself in the fountain pen community. And in early 2015, he was doing so well enough with pens that he actually left his teaching job to make pens full-time. But his passion for education continues in a scholarship program that I'll discuss in a little bit. Sean has a really solid reputation for making high-quality custom pens out of a wide variety of materials. When you order a pen from Sean, there's not a shopping cart on his site. You look at the examples that are already up there, or you can even send him materials, and you email him and tell him what you're looking for. And there's lots of examples of all sorts of different models and materials and features available. And then he'll provide you with a quote. The model that I chose was the Orville, and it arrived in this mug, which I think is actually really great. While I like pen boxes, I rarely store my pens in them, so it's basically useless after you get it. And so this is a very utilitarian approach to packaging, and it's a good way to protect the pen, and then it gives you something to use. And so I like it. That inside is a pen that comes in a little pouch. This little pouch has grown on me. I really don't own any other little pen pouches like this, and I've really grown to like this one a lot. Sean's wife, Elizabeth, makes these pouches as well as other pen storage and some purses and things like that, and you can actually purchase these on their site for about $5. So that's a pretty good deal. And so here we have the Orville. The full description of this pen is the Orville Brown Ripple Ebonite Oversized Long. So first of all, I don't know if they intentionally match the pouch to the pen, but if that's the case, they did a really good job. I just think that this pouch really matches, and I think that they use a number of different materials, and it's kind of random what you receive, but I thought it was kind of nice that that my pouch really matched the pen I received. And then second of all, I think that this is a very large pen, that I have a nice 24 pen case up here where I keep kind of my favorite pens outside of my other storage that I have. And this pen is too large to fit in there. So it's kind of nice to have this little pouch so it can still have a place up with all of my other nice pens that I really like. And it isn't relegated to some of the other storage, but I get good use out of that. This thing is beautiful. Sean's pens have interesting names. Most of his models are named after historic buildings in the Hot Spring, Arkansas area. And either buildings or businesses and things like that. The Orville, however, is named for a person, and that person is Orville Van Ness. And Van Ness might sound familiar to you because he's the founder of Van Ness pens. And that Sean has worked with Van Ness many times and partnered with them, and he wanted to name a pen in their honor. So let's take a look at the pen. Here on the end, you can see that there is a really nice swirl design. I really like how just the way that it cuts into the ebonite makes that kind of swirl pattern. And then we have the cap, and I really kind of like the fact that the cap almost looks like a little bit of a different stock than the barrel, because it provides a really nice contrast. So it's just a little bit lighter, and there's not quite many as darker swirls in there, and so I enjoyed that contrast. Then we have the barrel, there is a little bit of a step down here. It's not sharp, and the barrel is relatively straight and then tapers down slightly at the end, and then we have another end here where we have some swirls where you can tell it was cut in. The cap twists off. I will say on this one there's a bit of cross-threading that you just have to be careful on this particular model. That I do find that it cross-threads a little bit, but I think that for me that's just a little bit of the personality of the pen. And it has the nib. Here's a look at the plastic feed, and then here's what I believe is a number 6 Jowo steel nib. Notice the Newton logo on the nib. I think it's really interesting that it's rotated 90 degrees from most other logos. Maybe so you could see it when you're writing, so it's facing you. Don't know, not sure of the reason, but I like it. With the size of this pen, I think that maybe a number 8 nib might fit it a little bit better, since this is such a large pen. And I'm sure that if I would have requested it, then I could have had a number 8 put on here. But I think that one might fit the size of the pen just a little bit better. The nib is actually very, very nice. That it's decently smooth with just a little bit of feedback. We have a nice large concave section. It's very comfortable and very thick. And the threads are a little bit sharp, but they are still comfortable. That it doesn't bother me when my thumb is resting on them a little bit. That I really like the transition between the section and the barrel. And you can see here that it is 2 different pieces and 2 different pieces of stock, but they match up very, very well. If you really didn't know that this came apart, it'd be difficult to tell that this was actually 2 different pieces of stock. So I really enjoyed that attention to detail. The pen does post, and it posts securely, but it's huge. And that while the cap is very, very light, posting it makes it incredibly long. And so I don't think that you're going to want to write with this thing posted. But if you want to, it doesn't backweight the pen at all, and works perfectly fine, but just adds a substantial amount of length to an already large pen. I'll do some other size comparisons here in a bit, but you can see what it looks like compared to a TWSBI Mini. This is a very large pen. That the pen actually takes standard international converters or cartridges, and the section is all one piece. There's no metal involved here, so you could use it as an eyedropper if you want. And then you can tell here that the barrel is very thick, and that really lends itself towards giving this pen, even though it's very light, a very solid feel. Newton's base model pen is approximately $250. And the turnaround time is about 8 to 9 months. I found an example of something that I wanted on his site, and I emailed Sean to inquire, and that I turned out that I had good taste, because the model that I had requested was in excess of about $800. No wonder I liked it. I really wasn't looking to spend that much on a pen right now. And so I checked out his site, and he does have an area where he has a few pens that are already made that you could purchase right away. And I found this beauty. And that I found the Orville and thought it was perfect. And it was on the lower end of the price scale, and I really liked the looks. And lately I've been into brown pens for some reason. So, and then I really wanted one of his pens, and I quite honestly didn't have the patience to wait so long, even though the wait is very much worth it. So I actually paid by PayPal in one morning, and he actually had it out the door by noon, and then I had it within a couple of days. So it was a very quick and efficient and easy transaction. Another unique thing about Newton Pens is their scholarship program. Every month that Sean holds a raffle for a free custom pen, and you enter by purchasing a set of postcards which have students' artwork on them for $10 for a pack of 5. And here's a look at some of the postcards. And for each set you purchase, you are entered into a drawing. And at the end of each month, a winner is randomly selected, and then that lucky person receives an awesome free pen. Now, that pen goes into the production queue like all the others, so it'll be several months before the winner receives it, but it will be well worth the wait. The neat thing is that all proceeds from this contest, as well as other donations, go into funding the Newton Pen Scholarship Fund. High school students enter by writing essays, some of which you can read on Sean's site, and he has volunteers rate these essays, and with that and other factors, like financial need, and winners are chosen and each receive a $1,000 college scholarship, or scholarship to be used for college. And so far this year, Sean has raised close to $6,000, and so that would equate to 6 scholarships. It's really a worthwhile program which has helped out a lot of kids heading to college. So I'd highly encourage you to consider picking up some of his postcards. I mean, hey, it's only $10 and it goes towards a really worthy cause, and in the end, you might actually get an awesome pen out of the deal. Just for example, in April, there were 42 entries, and so your odds of actually getting a pen are pretty good. A lot better than some other drawings. So now it's time to show some measurements, some size comparisons, and then a writing example of the Newton Orville. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Newton Orville. You can see it just barely even fits in the screen there. But here we are. Here it is in comparison to a Pelican M1000. And here it is with a Classic Pens LB5. And here it is with a Mont Blanc 149. So the Mont Blanc is a pretty large pen in its own rights, but you can see how it pretty much is dwarfed by this. Then we have some other comparables. We have a Lamy 2000, a Pilot Custom Heritage 92, and then we have a Pilot Metropolitan. So you can see it's significantly larger there. So here we have the Newton Pens Orville. And this is a medium steel nib, and the ink, since this pen is named after the founder of Van Ness Pens, I figured that I'd choose an ink that I purchased from Van Ness, and that ink is Bungbox 4B, which is a real nice blue-black. It comes in this bottle. I love the ink. I really dislike these Sailor bottles. This is a custom Sailor ink that is made for the Bungbox pen store in Japan, and they have a whole line of inks. The inks are very nice. But I'm just really not a fan of these Sailor bottles. It's really hard to get your nib in there and get ink out of there, but the ink itself is very nice. I really wish they came in the old bottles. Originally, they came in bottles like this. This was the original Bungbox bottle, and I really like these. They work perfect. They look kind of cute, and at the time, this was the only Bungbox ink I could actually get, and I really wanted to check it out. So that's how I ended up with this color, which is, it's actually not one of my favorite colors. It's this lapis lazuli sky, and it's just really too light for me to really use on anything. So it is pretty much a sky blue, but while I love the bottle, it's not one of my favorite inks. In regard to the 4B, this is what the 4B looks like. And blue blacks can really vary to having more blue to having more black. This is what the Sailor Gentle blue black looks like. And then here's a Diamine 1864 blue black, and you can see how it's significantly more black than blue. So here we go with the rest of the writing sample. Lazy dog. As I mentioned before, that this is a really nice nib. It is a steel nib, so you're not going to get tons of flex out of it, and I really don't want to push it that much. But it is decently smooth with just a little bit of feedback. Like I said, you're really not going to push tons out of here. And in regard to wetness, it's not the wettest of pens, but the ink flow has been very, very good. And in regard to reverse writing, it's a little scratchier, but it is usable. And lays down a real nice extra fine line. And here is some fast writing. And the feed has no problem in keeping up. So we have here the Newton Pens Orville. This is a very high quality and well-performing pen from a very cool company. If you like these reviews, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I have a few more giveaways planned for subscribers coming up over the next couple of months. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.